We're on the air. This is Joel T. Bridges. Good morning. This is LiveTalkRadio.com. We're broadcasting from PalTalk.com, a free family chat program making a connection through their widget to what we're calling member websites of the Worldwide Network.com and the Worldwide Radio Network.com. And we're testing out stuff. We got some folks here in the studio being trained to become part of a production team and crew that will in fact, well, they're going to be producing shows here because yours truly has been winging this by himself for a long time, and actually to produce something that I would think would be a little bit more interesting and entertaining other than just a chat room. The only reason why it's not a chat room is because we use it for a different purpose. So yes, it is a chat room. Could be any chat room, from Pell Talk to Frog Chat to Tiny Chat. There's any number of programs out there we could use, and regardless of what we're using, you will find us on livetalkradio.com. That's a website, www.livetalkradio.com. And that's how, if all else fails, if you don't find us on Pell Talk because Pell Talk decided to ban yours truly, which they've done before, we have an alternative. We also use tinychat.com. Has the same kind of stuff, but they don't charge you for the use of the webcams, folks. And right now, we're still not fully open here. So this is kind of a training tape here. Most of the folks that are with us have been here for years with us. Many of those in the room here. And we're about to open up our cam. There we go. We're on the air. Ed, you're now, see that? Can you see my cam? Can you see you?
No, I enlarged it.
Well, then you need to minimize it.
I don't see.
Eh?
How do I do that now?
How do you do that? Well, you know what? You're going to have to figure it out. I get people started and they have to figure out. We have a UFO in the studio at the moment. And I'm also very washed out. There's the upper camera. There you guys are. Hi, how you doing? That's Ed over there. And this particular camera seems to have a mind of its own. I'm not doing that. That's all auto. I think it has something to do with the UFO. Yeah, I'm not sure. I didn't figure that one out, but that seems like computers have a mind of their own. Very often, they don't do exactly what you want when you want it. Yeah. So here we are in the studio. By the way, we're getting ready for a house meeting at 9 o'clock here. It is 8:33 a.m. It is Friday, November 16th, 2012. If you guys have been regulars, you realize that yours truly has not been telling you the exact date and time for a long, long time. Not until quite recently, and there's a reason for that, but we've noticed that human beings in general are often la-la land, and they're really not very observant. Like, for instance, they don't observe who the room owner is. They get confused. There's two rooms exactly the same name, but they wouldn't know that because they're not into details. There's only a space that separates the live talk, the www.livetalkradio space presents from another room exactly the same name, but not on this category. It's hidden in Pell Talk under another category, and the only way that the boys and girls can find it is to go to their buddy list, and you'll notice it says chat rooms view all, and then there's a search engine. Most of these people have done research. They're so lazy and so numb that all they want to do, you can tell the ones that are actually into stuff besides just sitting on their fat asses chewing bombs and wasting their life away being entertained. You can tell those people from the other ones because they actually take the mic, they actually produce stuff, they actually know that there are settings where you can show people entering the room or exiting the room. Hell, I talked to somebody a month or two ago that was on Pell Talk for 3 years, and I said, check out the banner. They didn't even know there was a banner. Because most of the rooms, how many people go in, regulars here go into rooms and even notice the fact that all the rooms, most of them all say, please support our sponsors. That's all they do. That's all they do. They don't use the banner at all. They don't bother to learn anything. It's like they decided to stop learning. Uh, I'm not saying learning is the end all and be all, but I mean, you use it or lose it, folks. There's going to be a lot of people on Pell Talk that get Alzheimer's, which is not a bad way to go. You just wake up one morning and you start noticing you can't remember jack shit. Uh, CRS is what they call it. Probably you know what I'm talking about. CRS is I can't remember shit. And then that turns into Alzheimer's, and eventually it's not a bad thing because then you wake up in the morning and you go, where am I? They tell you, and they say, who are you? And you make new friends, wake up in a new location every day. Freaking awesome way to go, folks. Yep, you just lose that pesky little ego of yours, which you've all been in these spiritual rooms. You're all looking, most of you are looking for a way to kill the motherfucker. I would suggest that Alzheimer's is the best way to go. So if you want to bring it on a little faster, just keep doing what you're doing. Don't exercise the brain. Don't learn anything. Don't plug into the intelligence of the universe, which most of you don't anyway, because you're up in la la land, thinking your own thoughts, thinking your thoughts are real, thinking that the thoughts is the story of yourself, and you identify with that rather than anything else. And of course, your thoughts, you've been trained and programmed to believe they come out of your brain. Your brain is in your body. And of course, there are the people that believe everything is, if they can't see it, eat it, taste it, touch it, or fuck it, well, then it ain't real. So, we've got those folks. But there are some people that have woken up and realized that everything is consciousness. The whole idea of being trained and programmed and conditioned to believe that you're a body is the source of fear for most people because they think about death, suffering, dying. And there are people that subscribe to that. They subscribe to the imaginary lines that have been placed all over the earth to create the United States as opposed to the United Kingdom or Australia or South Africa.
Yes, I am.
They all believe that crap, living in their stories, using the body brain reference as the reference to everything, creating time and space. All these things are concepts, but they don't see it as that because they go out and find other people that are as stupid as they are and as deluded as they are, and then they support their delusions in each other by claiming it to be so. And then they listen to the chatter in their heads thinking it's them, although if they were to observe it, they'd notice it's constantly changing its frickin' mind. Should I or shouldn't I? Should I or shouldn't I? Well, maybe I should. They don't even record themselves and listen back to realize how fucking idiotic the voice is that they express it. They make generalities about, did you know that most people? They don't know most people. How many people in here use most people, making blanket statements? They don't speak the truth. They speak lies all the time. And then they battle each other over their fucking lies, their stupidity, the frickin' ego that they identify with, and they don't realize that they're not the ego. The ego defined is, quite simply, a separated self. I am here, you are there. Can't you see, motherfucker, the differences between the two of us? And you either believe as I believe or you don't. If you don't believe as I believe, you're not probably a friend. And if you do, we can make peace and be friends as long as you don't cross me, you motherfucker. And as soon as you do, you're a backstabbing piece of shit. In which case we can go to war, and if we happen to be Christians, we can kill you and crucify you because you're a Christian. And you know damn well that just because you're supposed to love your enemies, turn the other cheek, and if someone asks you for your cloak, you give them your shirt also. We can ignore all of that shit and just fucking nail them to a cross and hang them out to dry, so to speak. Yeah, it's a wonderful world we live in, isn't it, folks? La la land, la la land, la 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 la, and that's where most of you people hang out. And you're so busy defending your belief system, you don't have time to even take a look at the belief system. It has a lie in it. Believing anything is stupid. That has a lie in it too. Look for the lie. Where's the lie? Well, the lie is right in the word. Hey, do you have a clue? No, you're clueless. And then you sit there and you make up more stories. You have no idea whether Jesus even lived or not, except for a storybook where your parents subscribed you to the religion so that you got programmed and conditioned to believe all this crap. Well, who the fuck needs to believe anything when you can take a look for yourself at the present now? Where is the now? Right here. Whoops, it's gone. Where is it now? It's, whoop, there it's gone. Oh, fading off into the past. But if you want to take the past, bring it to the present, cover up the present, no pun intended, all you have to do is keep resurrecting the same fucking belief system, the same bullshit, the same victimhood, the same crap every fucking day, extending your belief system, the filter that prevents you from seeing jack shit, because you're a fucking stupid motherfucker, half asleep, and you don't want to wake up because you already figure you got it half mastered, and half mastered, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So don't try to fix me or tell me anything, because I know better than you. I know you're full of shit, and I would agree, I am full of shit. But what's that got to do with the price of beans in China? There's certain things that are facts. You say they're facts, I say you're full of shit. I say the whole thing is made up. You say some shit is your imagination, some isn't. Well, who the fuck is making that decision of what the value is of everything in the frickin' world? Who the fuck do you think is doing that shit, folks? You say, gee, I can see how people misinterpret what other people say because I've listened and I'm offended. And then other people say, well, I'm not offended. Well, should you be offended or not offended? Who the fuck decides who to be offended by or what to be offended by and what not to be offended by? Who the fuck decides that? Well, if you're the one that decides that, who is it that's deciding it, and why is it you're deciding that? Why is this gross and not that gross? Why does the farmer go out and shovel shit every day, and he's not offended when somebody comes over and they go, ew, look at that cow shit, ew. All of it is your fucking judgment, folks. And if you didn't have the fucking judgment that you're programmed and conditioned to believe, where you have a choice and you have preferences, you'd be a lot better off. But you don't have a fucking clue about that any more than a clue about thinking. You think your thoughts. They're your thoughts. Sure they are. Fucking dumb bunch of fucking idiot or ignoramuses. Anyway, have I said enough? I don't know if I have. Yeah, well, Logan yesterday was taking all kinds of shit personally. We're going to watch The Secret Law of Attraction this morning. By the way, we had a house meeting last week, and we decided that the first thing they're going to see, which will probably get rid of a lot of folks that come in here and apply for guest status, is we'll lay the secret law of attraction on them. And if that doesn't get rid of a lot of them, I don't know what will, because that's going to be the unifying factor. I know it's not necessarily the end-all and the be-end-all, but you know what? You know, it's kind of like coming together. And it's like, well, I'll give you an example. The United States of America was based on a paper which they all agreed upon, and then it grew out of that. And the scumbags, okay, were able to take advantage of it anyway, because human nature, apparently the ego's nature is greed, lust, killing and murdering in the name of good, going to war, and all this kind of good stuff. And so the ego can take anything, twist it, turn it, and fuck with it to the point where what was inspired to give people rights and freedoms and set them free turns out to actually put them back in another prison. So the people that have the money and the power evidently are able to hoard it and hold it over the rest of the population, programming them with the TV, media, all this kind of crap to program them to believe that they should go out and buy this and buy that and bring home stupid, worthless shit they don't even need, convincing them that if they only do that and get this and get that, and then they'll be happy, always holding out this carrot in the future like a jackass with a carrot in front of its nose. And I'm going to be happy when, 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 I'm going to be happy when. Never obtaining happiness. Maybe a little bit of, every now and then you get that new car, you get the girlfriend, you get laid, you get this, you get some drugs, you get this, but I'm going to, and you get a little bit of relief there, you know. You get a little bit of relief, yep, yep. But you'll notice that it doesn't last very long until you're looking for more, like an addict that needs his next fucking shot of drugs. And that's what happiness is in the so-called real world here, is people looking for it everywhere, not finding it. Looking for love in all the wrong places. Looking for love. They're looking for love, they can never fucking find it. What a bunch of dildos you people are. You want to find it within yourself. Give it. That's how you keep it. It's totally opposite the way the ego works. You know? If you want something, folks, you give it. You give it. That's how you keep it. Sounds strange, doesn't it? You want love? Give love. But what love are you going to give if you don't have any? The ego doesn't have any. The ego is looking for love, admiration, respect from outside the external, not realizing that everything's internal. So there's a wonderful delusion for you. Hmm? You look for love externally. That's what the ego does. When all you'd have to do is realize that that isn't what it is, because the ego will set itself up with a new car, money, power, fame, and then find admirers that are deluded as much as that particular person is, and they call the admiration love. That ain't love. Doesn't work that way at all. It's just the opposite. You find the love within yourself, which then actually blows the ego out of the water because it's separated from love, looking for it in an external world, of which is all in the mind, because where else would it be? Where the hell is everything but in your mind, in your consciousness, in your awareness? You have a belief system because you've been programmed, educated to believe this is the way it is. And then you've got all the support of all the other deluded folks that have been programmed and conditioned into it, and at some point, perhaps an awakening occurs. But usually not until you encounter other people that actually see it that way. And of course, if you go around, you'll find that most people are off in la la land, looking out for their own self-interest all the time. And there's the problem. They don't realize the benefits of getting rid of their pesky little ego, which they're not. That's a voice that runs in their head that says, me, 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 me. It's all about me. Because, I've experienced that personally. I've experienced that love within. And when it really takes over, when you really get that little self, that little self-interest motherfucking ego out of the way, which is just a belief system, then it actually disappears. We talked about that with Broadcast 777 the other day. And he could identify with it. But here's the problem. If you've never experienced love in your life yet, and you got confused and thought when you felt it that it was coming from externally, wrong. You have to have the receptor. You have to have the receptor to see anything. So that's why the phrase "that thou seest, that thou beest" came in. So if you see an asshole, you're the asshole because you got the asshole receptor. Love doesn't see that. Why? Because love is not an asshole. The ego is loveless. All it does, the best it can do, is scratch your back if you scratch mine. That's it. Just a simple trade-off. It's a completely inverted image of oneself. But since the ego's home is the body, it's its reference point. That's how it all works in this so-called matrix or real world, whatever you want to call it. I see we have a hand up. Let's go over to JBM. And we are recording here for YouTube. So far we're at 20 minutes and 48 seconds. We're doing okay. You're listening to LiveTalkRadio.com. Joel T. Bridges at the microphone this morning, and we're doing we're kind of combining the testing we did yesterday and the teaching that we're doing this morning with Ed, who's joined us here, who's on the ThoughtBridge's camera, and Mike and Nick. And we're in the room where anybody can fuck with it. We have another room open just in case we get dotted. And we'll just move over there. Anybody that would like to be invited over there, if the trolls come in, just PM, welcome to my story. And you'll get an invite. Pretty simple, huh? Pretty simple. Yeah. Yeah, 2 rooms, folks, in case you just tuned in with us. Anyway, we're going to do the interactive thing. We got Dinah Victoria coming in now. Crafterman's here. Coach 22, Matthew Clark with an E. Altera, Daydream 50, Jagsy, Logan 7771, Daniel underscore the underscore angel. Welcome to my story. That's my other Nick. ThoughtBridges today is Ed rather than Bethany. ThoughtBridges was Bethany yesterday. JBN01's got his hand up, waiting patiently. And we're livetalkradio.com. So let's go over to JBN. Good morning, JBN. Don't forget, he's a regular. He knows if his audio is too high or too low, he gets a dot, and he doesn't take it personally. Right, JBN? Yeah, how's it going?
For me, shitty, but for everybody else, I don't know.
Okay, is everybody up?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know about Ed.
Ed's been down here and being trained on Pell Talk now for about 20 minutes.
Oh, alright.
He's already down here.
Then yeah, everybody's up.
Yeah, so, yeah, 9 o'clock. Show's already started. I started my show an hour early.
Okay.
So you guys will be walking into a show that's already in progress.
Alright.
Okay?
Alright.
Yeah. All right.
Bye.
Excellent. Excellent. That's the kind of material we're looking for on our show, folks. Good audio. Somebody who decided to pick some music, do a reading. We're looking for all kinds of stuff. We're looking for people that would be willing to do 10 minutes a day. That's it. 10 minutes a day, folks, is almost a week's worth of material at the end of a year. If you were to write a page a day, okay, about your life, at the end of a year, you'd have a book to publish or to edit and publish. 10 minutes a day isn't much. If you spend 10 minutes a day doing stomach crunches at the end of a year, you're in perfect shape as far as your stomach goes. If you do 10 minutes a day in meditation, you'll be surprised at what happens at the end of a year. Anything that you focus your mind on, kids, is what manifests, and you get to reap the benefits. If you spend 10 minutes a day worried about your problems and where you're going to be and where you're going to go and what you're going to do for your retirement, and you're going to worry 10 minutes a day, imagine what you're like at the end of a fucking year, huh? You see, folks, you have the ability to focus on anything you want to. You can focus on what's positive in your life, and you will create the positive because you're focused on it. Or you can continually drag the bullshit, negative crap that you're looking for an external answer to, and you'll never find the external because there isn't anything on earth that's actually going to give you happiness. No, 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 no. Find the happiness first without the externals. And all the externals will then manifest because you'll then be able to see it through a new perception. And it will be seen, what used to be there that wasn't seen will be seen now in a different way, including other people, because you've changed what you're now focused on. Secret Law of Attraction is what's coming up for our house meeting. You guys are welcome to stick around if you want, or go somewhere else. But today we had it presented. How long ago did we present that? Who's here? How long ago did we present the Secret Law of Attraction?
A little over a week.
A little over a week ago. And for you newbies in here, we had a house meeting, didn't we, Beth, where we said we thought everybody that comes in here, that ought to be the first thing they see?
Yeah.
Because we could get rid of the newbies that way. Right? Mm-hmm. Or we'd have something that we could use as a starting point for relationship in terms of what it is. Because as you know, there are people like Diana Victoria out there that just labels all this stuff crap. And those are the people that we don't need. We don't need them except for our radio show, in which case we really appreciate these people that think it's all crap. Because it gives us something to talk about. You're going to have something to push against. And so we appreciate people like Diana Victoria who come in and just call everything crap. But the way I figure it is she just can't see it because she's so ingrained into the programming conditioning. But that doesn't make her a bad person, Ed. Doesn't make her a bad person. Doesn't make her a bad person at all. Just because she doesn't see something doesn't make anybody a bad person. That's a judgment. Not into judging. Let me explain something real basic to you folks. The difference between a judgment and discernment is this. It's like calling a spade, okay? Let's say Joel is an asshole. Well, he might be. But that would be a judgment on Joel. Poor Joel's an asshole. Or we could say Joel's acting like an asshole. Okay? Joel isn't really an asshole, but he's acting like one. You see, one is a judgment, freeze framing something, and then from that judgment, everything else is built on that judgment to add to the judgment. And Have you ever been in a relationship before where you know you've been judged,
Not
and
once,
after you've
really.
been judged, everything after that goes through the filter of the judgment? If somebody in a relationship has slighted you, maybe it's your turn to do this. Does this sound familiar? Or more likely, the ego will see that somebody else did something to you, and now you judge them. How many times have you heard, well, now I can't trust you anymore. Nothing you say I can trust. And then in a relationship, you'll cut a deal with somebody, you know. You'll say, well, hey, I'll cut you a deal, you know. This is the ego's way of love. I'll scratch your back if you scratch mine, you know. Pretty amazing stuff, isn't it? How it actually works. Can you see that? It looks like the kids are in here. 9:01 a.m. Today is Friday, November 16th, 2012. The chatter's going on in the background. It's getting rather distracting. There is no light on blinking with a security guard at the door to allow people into the studio that's going shh, shh, shh. There's a show going. The man at the mic, that wacky guy, will just talk, and he'll have to focus on what he's saying, otherwise he can get distracted. No actual real awareness of what the fuck is going on, because these folks are all just waking up now. Oh, I think they were listening. Yeah, you see, what happens is people come into the environment here, and it's already been running for years and years and years. This ministry was started back in 1977, and yours truly has been using it as a lifestyle. Really loves the whole thing. He gets to help people out, try to give them a clue. He not only closes and houses them and shelters them and gives them work and something to do, but sets it up so that people can actually interact with each other, get to discover themselves, get to discover what the problem is, and solve the problems rather than just fighting, feuding, killing each other, bopping each other over the head with insults and judgments and all that shit. Yeah. Let's see how long their attention spans for. We'll listen to the ones that are doing their thing. Oh, and I wanted to tell you guys yesterday, there are no drugs allowed in this house whatsoever. What you do in the privacy of your own rooms is fine because we don't control that, and we won't. But the house rules state there are no drugs on these premises. If you have drugs, you better have a prescription for them. Otherwise, if I find out as the director, then I'm going to have to tell you we're going to have a house meeting and decide what the punishment will be. And the house decides who stays and who goes. Okay? I'm just the director. Now, obviously, in the privacy of your own room, as long as, let's say you're an alcoholic, you want to get drunk,
I was looking for it. I didn't see
stay in
it.
your goddamn fucking room, because if you walk out into the communal section, it becomes a problem. All of a sudden, you're subject to the rest of the powers that be in this house, because the communal areas are clear. We have government agents that stop by here, as well as other people. We've had spies in here. We used to deal with the Department of Human Services. We actually had a guy come directly out of jail one time, where his lodging was paid for by the state of Maine, the Department of Corrections. His name was Joe. That was back in the 80s. I've been cataloging for 30 some odd years human behavior, studying human behavior, cataloging what works, what doesn't work, integrating what I consider to be the best systems of self-government. I've come up with an alternative society. This has been a prototype that I've been doing research. It's finally paying dividends. There's going to be a book out pretty soon by yours truly about an alternative society. It couldn't have happened years ago because the internet wasn't here. I'm taking this and going to be setting it up so people all over the world will be able to see what I'm talking about, and not just a bunch of hot air, but actual stories about real life situations where people had problems, they got it resolved, they got it together. the killing, so-called killing, whether it be insulting, judging people, hanging people, crucifying people, kicking people, slapping people, stops. And we take a look at what's going on, because you know what? If you're out there trying to change the entire world, good luck. You ever try to change anybody?
Logan says hi.
You ever try to change somebody? Doesn't work, does it? However, if you ever try to change yourself, does that work? Can anybody actually change themselves? There's the question. There's a deep-rooted metaphysical question that's been argued for centuries. Do you have free will? Is there such a thing as free will? It sounds dumb, doesn't it? Of course I have free will. I can get up and get more coffee. And so you go and do that, and you say, there, that proves that I have free will. Yeah.
People can change. They just gotta decide if they want to change or not.
And at what point does that kick in? Is it because people suffer to a point where they finally give it up and say, I've got to change?
If they get sick and tired of if they get sick and tired of their lifestyle and they want to change, they got to do it themselves.
Right.
And if they can't, if they have a spouse, they sit down with their spouse and be, hey, look, my life is shit. I need your help. Help me change my life, and work together.
Okay.
And that's how you can change your life around.
If you knew me 20 years ago,
I got
I'd
I
be
got a
solid
felon.
proof of
I
someone.
did my time, and I'm slowly, day by day, changing my life.
Yeah, I can
Trying
see,
to.
you know, Oren evidently started waking up. Because in the beginning when he first got here, what was this? Is this your third time here or fourth
Yes,
time?
third time.
Yeah, we was here twice before.
Last summer and this earlier this
And we
spring.
worked with him before, and each time he took off, and he owed the house. Now, folks,
I owed the house $15.
let's make a distinction here so you know what's going on. This is ThoughtBridge Live, and ThoughtBridge Live, for years, is a show which includes the residents of the house. The old timers here know it. And we have a disclaimer: anything said here is for entertainment purposes only. We might be spoofing on you. How do you know what's true and what's not true? I don't know. But if you're stupid, you're going to take it hook, line, and sinker and never question anything. If you're not stupid, you're going to realize it's entertainment with a message, and it doesn't matter what's being said or who's claiming to do what or this or that. I mean, we've done stuff where we're claiming that we're dealing drugs and the truck is backing up and unloading 2 keys. If you want to believe that shit, go ahead. But that's what's interesting about my little project here is this place. Those that know don't say. Those that do probably don't know. So in other words, we have a group energy where what you're saying can be completely ignored. And once you start to get to know other people, once you start to create a tight group of people that can trust each other, you can feel that trust. You can feel the vibes. If you're going by the vibes, you're probably more right on the money than you are in trusting what people are saying, because everybody comes up with a story. They sell themselves. The ego always sells itself to other people, and then you watch very carefully as to whether or not the talk becomes the walk. You know what they say, actions speak louder than words. So for instance, in running this place, I've had to find out who I can trust and who I can't. What I've determined is if I can't trust people in little things, I sure as hell can't trust them in bigger things. And I've lived in this 5,500 square foot facility for 30 some odd years. And if you don't think that I've been taken advantage of, think again. The house refers to the house of God. So when I say house, if it was me that was getting ripped off the funds, Jesus, a little bit of ego in me might get really pissed off and say, you motherfucking thief. But because it's the house, I don't have to take anything personally. Because all I do is I handle house funds. They come in, they go out. They come in, they go out. I'll give you, for instance, my job as the custodian here, the official bottle washer, the slave of serving humanity, God, whatever you want to call it, whatever story words you like, is the fact that I've had to make decisions, and I don't make those decisions myself. I wait patiently for what apparently seems to be a listening. For instance, a woman came down a few years ago and said she needed 20 bucks because she didn't have any food. I offered to take her to the food bank. She said no. She didn't need a ride to the food bank. Well, it turns out, cut to the chase, later and I didn't give her the money because there was something that didn't feel right about it. Later on, I found out from someone she was someone from up the street. Turns out they were doing drugs. She would have used the 20 bucks to go out and get drugs. She didn't need food. That was a lie. So that gives you an example of what's going on here. Now, to cover my ass, I'm going to use the favorite expression of the ego. Okay? Listen up. Here's the favorite expression of the ego whenever push comes to shove and you get caught in anything that you can't take responsibility for. You ready?
Nobody's perfect. Nobody. Nobody is perfect. I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. Nothing is perfect.
That's the ego. Covers everything, doesn't it? Covers absolutely everything the ego could want and more. Oh, sorry. Shit happens. No responsibility whatsoever. None. Nobody's perfect. Well, in the metaphysical room, that isn't true. We're all perfect, just as we are. But if you're in your ego right now listening to these words, some of you are going, fuck you. I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. The world isn't perfect. And so you're probably a little bit confused by that. Your first initial reaction is, oh, bullshit. Well, there's a little bit more here than meets the eye. And we're going to be discussing that, folks. We have the Secret Law of Attraction movie coming up. And it runs 90 minutes. And we're going to be stopping the movie at various points. So you can go inject your comments if you'd like. And what we're going to use it for is to give us all a reference point in terms of what the rest of us know, and some of us have actually started to practice it here. Let's go over to Bethany, because she said she started to practice it. How's it going along, Bethany?
Honestly, it's treating me like shit right now, but it's done good things for me before, so I have faith in it.
How about you, Warren? You been trying it out any?
Yes, I have. I've been thinking about certain things that I want in life that I've been trying to think on for years, and it's coming slowly. I'm in a relationship with a smart, fucking sweetheart of a girl, and she wants to get a place, and she wants to get married, and I want to get married, and we've already talked about it. Shit's going good. She's having a wonderful time with me. She has a blast. She likes coming down here and seeing everybody here. She likes coming down and talking with you. So
Okay.
far it's going good for me.
Yeah. Well, as I understand it, the more you practice it, the better it gets.
Yep.
And so every time you go off and slip off into the negative, uh, you've got to. You, I guess the main thing is you start to understand that your mind has this tremendous capability of focusing on what you want and what you don't want. According to the secret law, that what you don't want, if that's what you're thinking about all the time, that's what you get more of. It doesn't really care. The universe doesn't care. It just, according to the law, will give you more of either what you don't want. If you're thinking about what you don't want, you get more of it. If you change your mind and decide and to focus on what you do want, well, then that's what happens. So we're going to be presenting that in here. for you folks to listen to comment on, to get feedback on, a starting point of a conversation. Whether you agree or disagree doesn't really matter. If you have the ears to hear, well, then you'll hear the message, and if you don't, you'll be fighting it all the way, tooth and nail, depending on which side of, well, which side you want to see. It's up to you. Because nobody can make you believe anything other than what you are ready to see for yourself or to believe for yourself. It's that simple, folks. So we'll be back with more of ThoughtBridge Live in just a moment. I'm going to be going over to the other computer and piping that into the room here, which now means I've got to hit my switcher here. Change computers. And we are still broadcasting. Looks like 46 minutes and 40 seconds. Next up, we're going to stop the broadcast now on YouTube. You'll be able to see this section. We're going to stop it at 47 minutes, which is coming up in 5 seconds. Stay tuned. You can get the Secret Law of Attraction